There are two broad streams if we look at how yoga can help us manage different ailments. Your physical movements, benefits of doing regulated, controlled movement, and its impact on muscles, bones, circulation, cardiovascular activity, helping handle multiple ailments. And then there is other aspect where nervous system regulation comes into play, where I try to tell my body that there is less things to be worried about. And that I do with my breath regulation, with awareness, trying to help create an environment within myself so that I am not unduly worried or unduly anxious, and my capacity to handle stress keeps increasing. So these are two streams of thoughts yoga helps us with in handling different kinds of ailments and lifestyle related issues. For those who have not attended the previous sessions, I'll quickly bring everyone at the same page. We are discussing therapeutic usage of yoga. Last week we were discussing nervous system in detail, like how nervous system is divided into central and peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system is your brain and spine, and peripheral system is your autonomic and somatic nervous system. We got into the details of autonomic nervous system, which is your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. How this sympathetic nervous system is, if it keeps getting activated every now and then, or if it is activated long period of time, how it is harmful for us. The idea with sympathetic nervous system was that it will get activated when we perceive a threat. Think of a primitive human being living in the jungles. If he is attacked by a wild bear or a lion, the instinctive feeling will be to run. And that visual sight of a wild animal approaching you and the response that it triggers within a human being, that is the flight or fight mode that sympathetic nervous system is responsible for. Increased heart rate, release of adrenaline, and the motor response it generates is the right kind of behavior. Primitive human being living in the jungle is not chased by a lion continuously throughout 24 hours. Modern human beings don't have that kind of a threat, but we have created our own environment where we experience stress. Say we are late for a meeting, or we have forgotten to pay a bill, or we are late to respond to an email. These are things that create stress, and this stress and the life threatening stress of being chased by a wild animal are very different stresses. Modern human beings have created an environment where these stresses have become part and parcel of our life. And hence, our sympathetic nervous system keeps releasing hormones, keeps our heart rate high, keeps us in an alert mode. So this heightened alertness results into chronic stress and chronic anxiety. Now, chronic stress and chronic anxiety creates an environment for multiple lifestyle related issues that come out as diseases. So this is how our nervous system, which should have two modes actually, rest and digest and flight and fight. Modern human beings have created a life where they are exposed to stress, which even though are not life threatening, are consistently present, or we create an environment in our own minds where we are stressed unnecessarily. This constant exposure to real or perceived threat results into our sympathetic nervous system being constantly active. The hormones which should have been released only for a short while, the heart rate which should have gone up only for a short period of time, And our pupils, which should have been wide open only for a short period of time, all our physical markers of stress have been tuned in such a manner that they are always active or active for most periods of time. This is where yoga comes into play. If you can bring about a realization that there is nothing to be stressed about, build a mind which can relax, build a method by which you can relax your breath, which signals the body to relax, then you are training your body and your mind and your nervous system in methods that will help you relax consciously, which will shut down the sympathetic nervous system for a while and help your body rest, recover. If your body is relaxed, is recovering well, then the kind of hormones it releases is good for you. The kind of heart rate that it exhibits is good for you. The kind of breathing you exhibit if you are relaxed is very different from the kind of breathing you exhibit if you are stressed. So, if I've created an environment, say with light, with sound, with pollution, where the environment is such that body feels stressed, if I've created a work environment where I'm being exposed to human beings who are always slightly more aggressive than they should be, or if I'm experiencing internal stress for whatever reasons, then environment, external people, and other human beings, and my own internal environment produces a set of conditions that keep me stressed throughout, keeps my sympathetic nervous system active throughout, and the resultant physiological markers are always present. With yoga, I'm creating an opposite environment, training my mind and my body to relax, to recover, and that has a impact which helps me avoid several diseases, which promotes good health. So sympathetic nervous system needs to relax and rest and digest. My parasympathetic nervous system needs to get activated. That is what yoga does beautifully well. This understanding of nervous system is important, and how it is divided, how my responses are divided is also important. Say 30, 40 years ago, the idea was that mm, the cognitive response has to be active. I have to receive a message from my senses. It has to be processed either as a threat or as a safe mode, and then the body will respond. Uh, There are theories which suggest that body is receiving lots of information continuously, and without us being conscious, it determines whether the environment is safe or whether the environment is threatening. Even before I have made a conscious decision, there will be a response from the body where it has analyzed the environment as being safe or as being threatful. This continuous study of environment is what you come across in the polyvagal theory, where they are saying that there is a constant reading by the body which transmits a lot of information to the nervous system, to the brain, to analyze whether the environment is safe or not. If my environment is safe, say I'm living in the city and my environment is rich in pollution, air pollution, noise pollution, and light pollution. Compare with your body being close to nature, say in the mountains, how your brain perceives these environments is different. If you are going from the city mode to nature, body and brain and the nervous system will respond differently. Similarly, if you are amongst friends and family, there is harmony, then the body responds differently. And if you are surrounded by people who are unhappy or threatening either verbally or by non-verbal cues, they are threatening, body will respond accordingly. Similarly, if you have made choices for your body which are positive, say you are eating, you're sleeping on time, you are doing your exercise, you are drinking enough water, these are markers creating positive environment in the body. If you're not doing that, you could not sleep for multiple days properly, that sends a threatening message to the body where your sympathetic nervous system is active throughout. Nervous system regulation starts with me being aware of how I am being impacted. I cannot always control my external environment, but I can create an internal environment where I'm sending out signals to my body that it is okay to relax. There may be things out of your hand, but you still create an environment in your head that you send out a signal to your body that it's a time to relax and not feel threatened. How yoga does that? By helping you with breath control. If you are into pranayama practice, if you are doing yoga properly, there are instructions to inhale and exhale. So you are regulating your breath in a way that helps you manage your breath. So breath regulation leads to many positive results in your nervous system regulation. So if I want to relax in the body, if I want to relax in the mind, and I have no other way to change my external environment, then I can deal with my own breath to relax myself, to create an environment which sends out signals of peace and calm. So breath becomes like a medicine, or it's like a bridge which helps me go from anxiety to calmness. So breath control becomes central to my practice. Any thoughts, any questions, any comments so far?
When you said about breath control, we are following the instructions, but some poses are difficult. So I might be doing a quicker breath or holding on because I have to relax, but the body is stiff. So what
Yes.
happens where we are not yet being able to reach the rhythmic saman breathing in a posture?
Vis-a-vis yoga postures and breath control, it's layered. You will notice some degree of inhale and exhale throughout the class. It may not be up to the perfection that we want to, but we engage with our breath continuously. One of the reasons why we feel so refreshed after the class, our muscles have used, we have been oxygenated, and in a slightly conscious manner, that helps me. As my muscles and my bones and my joints cooperate with me during the class, the more they cooperate, the more I can focus on my breath.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
so first stage is I will ease into the practice. I will relax my muscles as much as possible and practice with some degree of focus of which are the muscles that I am tensing unnecessarily. If I can get into that mode of practice where I'm aware of my muscles, muscles that should be consciously contracted, muscles that should be consciously relaxed, and muscles that are unnecessarily contracted. If I can become more aware during a practice, then I graduate into a practice which is deep and conscious, and then comes your perfect breathing. So when in class, I try to bring your attention to different muscles, or when you are being directed to observe, tense, and relax each muscle, that is important. You must engage with your body. You must graduate to that level where you have gone beyond the huffing and puffing of the class, and you are trying to be more observant with what is happening in your body. Then you will be able to maximize the benefit that comes with breath regulation. But even if you have not reached that level, that constant engagement with breath that you are inhaling and exhaling, that also helps.
So not too worried about it. Doing fine because sometimes I think when we are supposed to inhale, I exhale.
See, there is the practice is so regulated. When will it harm you is if you are doing too fast. If your practice is too fast and your breathing is off, then it starts creating problem. But our practice is regulated. Take time to get into the pose. There is time for you to actually exhale through the mouth almost in every pose. So that helps you.
Okay.
So
My rush practice is a concern, but not the
there
way
are
we are doing.
there are three things: rushed practice, the difficulty of the practice, how your health is during that day, and fourth is if you're breathing moderately okay or not. So there are it's like a
Multiple
matrix
reasons. Mm.
has to go absolutely wrong for it to be harmful. I think we are moderately placed.
Thank
Any other thought, questions, comments, please share. So our heart rate or how we breathe changes or is dependent upon our emotions. If I am relaxed, I breathe in a certain manner. If I am anxious or tired or physically exhausted or excited for any reason, or if there is a sudden sound that alarms me, I breathe in a different manner. My emotions, my thought process has an impact on how I breathe. Similarly, if I can change or regulate my breath, then I will be impacting my mind as well. So it is a both way process. This is something that you experience while you sit down to meditate as well. So that's why all meditation practices, whether it is Raja Yoga, whether it is Vipassana, whether it is Tibetan Buddhist style of practice, whether it is Zen, you pick up any meditation practice, the base layer will involve breath control and observation of breath. Breathing pattern or how we breathe can impact my focus, my concentration, and the degree of calm I experience. If my emotions and my thought process impacts how I breathe, if I can regulate my breath, I can impact how I emote. This is a two-way process. Like your heart or your digestive system or your nervous system, these are automatic processes. Your breath is also automatic process. Like right now I'm talking, if you are listening, then all parties are breathing without my mind instructing me to breathe. However, breath is a unique function in the body, which even though is automatic, can be regulated as well. Like you cannot regulate how you digest food. You eat food and you wait for the body to secrete digestive juices and do its work. Breath is automatic, controlled by your brain, but you can regulate it. So it's a unique function in the body, something that we want to utilize. Now, how does breath influence heart rate? Your breath will impact blood pressure, your breath impacts your nervous system, emotional regulation with breath, and the amount of oxygen your blood carries depends upon the kind of breathing you are involved in. Carrying of oxygen is important because if your bloodstream is carrying enough oxygen, then the amount of oxygen that is reaching your brain is optimal. If that is optimal, then the brain feels that there is nothing to be stressed about. One of the key ways brain realizes that it is time to be stressed if the oxygen supply to the brain is disturbed. So my oxygen carrying capacity of my bloodstream should be good enough to keep my brain functioning properly and to make it realize that it can be calm and can be relaxed. Your breath influences multiple aspects of your life. Breath is the remote that can control your nervous system. Important to learn how we breathe. There are different ways we breathe. I'm trying to discuss each one of them. You have fast breathing, shallow in nature, that you don't breathe deep enough. Fast and shallow breathing is associated with anxiety, sudden fear that, say, you hear a loud sound, or if you see an accident, or if something that shakes you up, then stress and sudden activation of your sympathetic nervous system. Fast or shallow breathing is associated with anxiety, fear, stress. If I am doing a fast or a shallow breathing, your heart rate will increase. There will be muscle tension. You will tense your muscles of the chest, the arm, your jaw, your neck, the shoulder. If you start becoming aware of the body, you will realize how we tense our muscles when we are stressed. It will be followed by mental agitation as well. So fast and shallow breathing has these many impacts. We are exposed to stress, we start breathing shallow. So we do not utilize the full capacity of my lung. I'm not breathing deep enough. And more I am exposed to stress, shallow is my breathing. If I'm breathing shallow, if I'm breathing fast, my brain thinks it is something to be stressed about. Breathing shallow or breathing fast can become my normal way to breathe. So that becomes a habit. And because it has become my habit, my brain thinks there is something to be stressed about, even though there is nothing to be stressed about. To train myself to breathe differently is very important. If stress induces shallow breathing and continuous stress makes shallow breathing my normal way of breathing, then that is the vicious cycle where the brain is constantly suggested that there is something to be stressed about. Go for slow and deep breathing. Slow and deep breathing will result into calmness, create an internal environment where you feel that there is nothing to be stressed about. Parasympathetic nervous system can be activated. It will slow down your heart rate, improve your digestion, and relax your muscles. Training yourself to breathe slowly is important. One of the easiest exercise that we can do, just the 3-part breathing that you have done in class, is very useful tool to train yourself into regulated breathing. 3-part breathing is you inhale, you hold, and you exhale for a equal count of time, 4 and 4 seconds, for example, or 6 and 6 seconds, or 8 and 8 seconds. So your one breathing cycle is either 12 seconds long or 18 seconds long or 24 seconds long. That slows down the whole breathing process. And you repeat that cycle for 12 times. Inhale, hold, exhale for equal count of time through your nose. That's one pattern. Then box breathing. 4, 4, 4, and 4. Inhale, hold, exhale, and hold. 4 seconds inhalation, 4 seconds holding, 4 seconds exhalation, and 4 seconds holding again before you start the new cycle of breath. One breathing cycle becomes 16 seconds long. As your lung capacity increases, you increase how long you can inhale, hold, and exhale. The key thing here is you make sure that you are inhaling, holding, and exhaling for equal count of time. So say I can inhale for 10 seconds, but my exhalation is for 8 seconds. Then I will not go beyond 8. So whatever is my lower mark, I will repeat that. So inhale, hold, exhale for 8 counts. This slows down the whole process of breathing. And as a practice, you do it for multiples of 12. So 12 rounds of inhale, hold, exhale. If you have more time, you can do 24 such rounds or 36 such rounds. It will take 6 to 8 minutes only. If you are doing inhale, hold, exhale, triangle breath for say 12 times, 4 seconds each, then it will not take you more than 3 to 4 minutes to do one cycle of 12. And then you can do that as much as you want to. So this is a practice where you are entering the level 0 practice of pranayama. Like yoga, similarly, you can do very simple pranayama techniques to very complicated pranayama techniques. But before you enter the realm of complicated pranayama techniques, you must prepare your breath, like your lung capacity. This is like a level 0 pranayama practice where you cannot go wrong and you can do it any time during the day, just that you should not be heavy in the stomach. So inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Any of the patterns you could repeat. And now what is our end goal? If say currently you can do 4, 4, 4 easily, then After 2 weeks or 3 weeks of practice, take it up to 666 seconds. If 6 seconds each becomes comfortable, go for 8, then go for 10. And in 6 to 8 months' time, go for a 20-20-20 cycle, which means inhalations for 20 seconds, holding for 20 seconds, exhalation for 20 seconds, making your one breathing cycle a minute long. If your one breathing cycle is 60 seconds long, all you need to do is do it every single day, and your lung capacity keeps increasing. If your breathing cycle reaches 30 seconds each, like 10, 10, 10, the amount of oxygen that you inhale goes from here to here, and the amount of oxygen that your brain has during that practice is tremendous, and the impact is instant calmness. This kind of practice releases your anti-stress hormones instantaneously. Controlling the breath is not enough. You do your practice of inhale, hold, exhale, whichever pattern you take up, then you are observing the breath. Make sure that you have done your 12 rounds. That brings calmness. Then for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, you observe the movement of your stomach. You observe your breath. You inhale and your stomach expands. You exhale, your stomach collapses. You could keep your hand on the stomach to feel the movement of inhalation and exhalation, so that the touch of your hand on the stomach becomes like a mental hook. If you have graduated from that, you don't need that mental hook. You can simply be observant of the moment you start inhaling and the moment you start exhaling. This practice of observation of breath comes with two challenges. One is the challenge of concentration. If you are observing the breath, within first 10-15 seconds, your mind will go to some other topic. Your task is to bring your mind back to your breath over and over again. If you are, say, losing focus for 8 to 10 times during that 3-minute practice, and you have recognized that you have lost focus 8 to 10 times, then those moments that you have understood you lost focus are the moments of success for you, because you have had the opportunity to bring your mind back to your breath. And if you sit to observe your breath, and those 3 minutes pass away and you don't realize that you got distracted, only after the 3 minutes you realize that, oh, 3 minutes are gone, then you could not focus at all. So the moment you realize this is a struggle and you're losing focus over and over again, understand that challenge that you are facing is extremely useful and beneficial to you. Second, when I'm observing the breath, there is a tendency to control the breath. Now, I have done the controlling part. When I am doing inhale, hold, exhale, I am instructing myself how to breathe. So I am taking away the automatic nature of breathing. So it becomes a effort for me. Now, when I am observing the breath, I do not want to instruct my brain on how to breathe. I want to breathe. So I need to observe without control. So this observation without control is extremely important. Then if you can learn how to do that, will make you aware of your body, of your muscles, of your thoughts, and that will improve your overall awareness. So observation with focus. So you lose focus, you bring it back. Observation without control. So every round of 12, say, three-part breathing. So you did 4-4-4, 12 times. You pause for a 2-minute or 3-minute cycle to observe. So this completes the whole process of calming down, of improving the focus, and to bring back some kind of rhythm in your body. This body remembers for a couple of hours. This body knows that you have helped it to calm down, and it will remember and it will behave accordingly. Thoughts, questions, comments on this? Yeah. So this, but then you have to practice it consistently. Okay. Every single day you must include this in your routine. Any other thoughts? If you have anything, share. Else I will move forward with the discussion. in the class. There is another pattern like a 3-5-7 breath. So you inhale for 3 seconds, hold for 5 seconds, and exhale for 7 seconds. So you inhale, you hold, and then you exhale the breath in a more controlled manner. So that's another pattern, the 3-5-7 pattern, very useful. So 3-part breathing, box breathing, or a 3-5-7 breathing. If you have shallow breathing, then other forms of disturbances are also available to how we breathe. We hold the breath. Unnecessarily holding the breath, not only during our practice, but when we are stressed, trying to concentrate deep, or trying to suppress an extreme emotion. All these come with holding the breath. If I'm exposed to an environment where I get angry or I want to protest against it, but I cannot do that if I'm suppressing my anger or any negative emotion, that generally is accompanied by holding the breath. Shallow breathing is one way, holding the breath unnecessarily is another way I disturb my breathing process, sending the signal to my nervous system that there is something wrong. Becoming aware of this pattern where I'm holding the breath is important. Holding of breath comes also with clenching of your jaws generally. So become aware of how you are breathing during the day, during a conversation, during a commute, during when you are stuck in traffic, in your everyday life. How you are breathing is something that you must understand. How I am breathing is a question that you ask yourself repeatedly during the day. Then there is rapid breathing. Rapid breathing is when your nervous system is like there is a hyper arousal of your nervous system, accompanied by shivering, or you can feel that your wrist or your palm or your hand is shaking and you are breathing very rapidly. Extreme emotions about to be expressed is accompanied by rapid breathing sometimes. Then there is mouth breathing. You will see if you are tired or there is poor oxygen level in the environment where you are, or if you are not drinking enough water with dry mouth, or if there is poor quality of sleep, then this mouth breathing comes into play. If you are driving in your car and you find yourself yawning too much or becoming too exhausted during a car ride, you must check the oxygen level, or do something for better oxygenation of your internal car environment. Mouth breathing has become very common, either due to fatigue or because the place where you are sitting and talking or working has poor levels of oxygen. Some corporate office rooms are enclosed without a window and poor air conditioning. It results into fatigue and you need to open your mouth and breathe. So how we breathe is something that we must check and recheck. Like breathing is something that we take it for granted because in my daily life, I do not need to instruct how I am breathing. Remind yourself, this is a constant training. If you sitting straight is one thing you want to check, then also check how you are breathing. It helps. Go back to our yoga class. If you are doing pranayama practice, that's single pointed training of your lungs, isolating training of your breathing process. But when you are doing yoga postures, it's a mix. Observe how important it is to relax your muscles, to relax your mind, not be too stressed about how you are performing the yoga pose. Be aware of your body to breathe in a more relaxed manner. Breathing follows the cues of your body as well as your mind. This awareness, my body and my mind dictate how I breathe. And by changing how I breathe, I can change my behavior of I can relax my muscles as well. This two-way communication comes out very well in a yoga class. where you are practicing postures. So pranayam is your technique where you isolate the training of your lungs and you isolate the training of how you breathe. The complexity of breathing process and its relationship with your mind and your muscles is exhibited during a yoga class. This helps you build awareness. If you're doing a yoga class, keep in mind that you are not only training the body, but you are also training your lungs, which impacts your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps you release anti-stress hormones, which helps your muscles to release stress, which helps your body to relax. So many things can happen if I'm breathing right. There is this cycle that I have written down. Let me share this. This is one cycle that our body follows. If there is emotional stress, there will be nervous system regulation, which will result into hormonal imbalance, which will result into lifestyle disruption, which increases your disease risk. Emotional stress, nervous system dysregulation, hormonal imbalance, lifestyle disruption. Now, I cannot do anything about the emotional stress by relearning how to breathe. I start impacting the nervous system dysregulation. So it goes to nervous system regulation, which impacts hormonal balance, which makes sure that I am aware of the transgressions that I am making in my lifestyle. And it helps me to reduce the transgressions that I make to my lifestyle because of the stress. This reduces the risk of disease because of the stress. This is the link between emotional stress, nervous dysregulation, hormonal imbalance, and lifestyle disruption, which results in disease risk. You interject with training your breath, and your hormonal balance is restored, and how you take care of yourself is very different. So, this is the cycle. If there is a disruption, you change it by regulating your breath. If you have a question or a comment, please share.